have directed that tariffs and other import duties should be removed on rice, wheat, maize, sorghum, and drugs, and other pharmaceutical medical supplies for the next 6 months, in the first instance, to help drive down the prices.
For more on this, Bloomberg's Africa correspondent Jennifer Zabasajja joins me now from Johannesburg. Jen, first of all, is this going to go far enough to quell concerns amongst Nigerians?
You know, Jumana, just initially looking at what we're hearing from a lot of Nigerians, it might not. And the concern really that we're hearing from a lot of people is that this is mainly about the poverty situation. And because of what we did see from the president and the administration reversing back some of those subsidies, it just added more pain to the pressure that they were already feeling. And so we're getting a lot of that reaction on social media and the like, just about how some people do not believe that the president completely understands what it is that they are concerned about and what they've been protesting about. And there are still protests planned going forward. But, you know, as you mentioned in your intro, Jumana, Tinubu does believe that these protests really do have a political agenda and are trying to undermine his government's efforts to stabilize the economy. And so the question will be whether or not we do see protests picking back up again this week, especially given the fact that we did hear the president say that he was trying to ease some of the concerns as far as some of those staple items, bringing down the taxes on those.
Yeah. And Jen, what actual progress has there been in chipping away at the country's poor economic standing? Clearly a lot of pressure on the government right now, but how much progress have they made?
Right. And we've seen that across Africa, really, a lot of these administrations having to figure out how to get their country back on a stable level, but then also having to deal with what you're seeing right now on the screen, which is just a lot of pain that everyday people are faced with. What we heard from Tinubu and others for the past few days, we heard that half-year revenue actually more than doubled to 9.1 trillion naira in June. And we also reportedly are learning that debt service now only consumes 68% of revenue. That is down from 98%, which is just about 13 months ago. That is still very high, right? And of course, we have to factor in the big question mark, which is oil production. Nigeria, of course, is Africa's biggest oil producer. And they do say that oil production increased to 1.61 million barrels a day in July. So potentially that then brings the economic situation a little bit more stable. But, you know, as you were talking about earlier in the show, we have seen EM struggling. The Naira has, of course, depreciated 70% since Tinubu enacted some of these reforms a year ago. And so when people actually feel this will be a test.